Good. All right, so we live. Uh, get this set up. Hopefully you all can hear me well. All right, so came across this story that basically sounds like a Costco to me. So if you're in the U.S., Costco, Sam's Club is basically wholesale grocery stores. You can buy products in bulk, and when you buy products in bulk, it's always going to be cheaper. So this is a cool thing where this company is using tech in order to lower prices for people. So basically, they try to go to local farmers and they try to get as much product as possible so that they can sell it to the consumer in a bulk delivery. So they do delivery to your home, and that's basically the whole company. And I just want to just read through this article, give my points, and maybe it can instill some ideas in you all. So I'm gonna go ahead get started. Let me see. There you go. So this is one of the main. Just so you know, this is one of the main websites that I get a lot of these stories from. It is a paid service, and to me, it was enough value to me where I'll go ahead and pay for it. But I like the fact that they're always coming out with stories of just everyday Africans that are defying the odds and doing business in several countries in Africa. Either it's tech, like any industry. I like how it showcases what they're doing, and it just goes against the narrative that, oh, it's so difficult to do business in a lot of these African countries. Yes, it's hard, but if you do your due diligence, you're persistent, you're gonna eventually become successful. So as you can see, the title, startup tackles rising food costs with bulk buying platforms. So with everything that's going on in the world, prices are increasing, inflation is happening everywhere. It's not just the U.S. Food scarcities, the whole issue with wheat from Ukraine. You know, they're not producing enough wheat, fertilizer. So all this stuff affects the prices of food, especially in these West African countries where they are very reliant on food imports, which is sad, but this is where it's at. So it's an opportunity for someone that wants to get into it. They can go ahead and start looking at the value chain and figuring out a way how they can remove so much dependence on foreign countries to provide, to the breadbasket of the world. So here you have this African gentleman. I believe he's Nigerian. This is all in Nigeria. He's making the delivery, and the company is called Price Pally. So the Nigerian tech startup Price Pally offers another option. It connects consumers in two of Nigeria's largest cities, Lagos and Abuja, with farm fresh food at lower prices delivered to their homes within a day or two. Through a website and mobile app, Price Pally allows people to buy produce and wholesale products directly from producers or local farmers. Customers have the option to pool their resources and share bulk purchases with others for additional savings. The service has been a hit. Now the company is working with Prosper Africa. So I'm gonna Prosper Africa, the United States government initiative to increase trade and investment between African nations and the U.S. to connect with American investors and fuel additional growth. Now I'm just gonna say something real quick. So I actually looked at Prosper Africa, and it's something that's recently been created with this administration. And what I've come to realize when it comes to the Democratic Party in the U.S., they pander a lot to the point where it's just so cringeworthy. So I get suspicious when I see the U.S. trying to be involved, and really what sparked all of this. Now the U.S. really wants to be involved in Africa. It's because you already know about the Chinese. The Chinese get them loans, and the U.S. wants to. They don't want African nations to really be that close with China because China's the adversary in a sense. So they don't want China to have such a strong influence on African nations with the Belt and Road Initiative, all that stuff. So that's already going on. Then Russia started coming in and started meeting with a lot of these heads of states of these African nations. So you already know Russia, UK, US, or the West. They don't really bang together like that. So that's the issue. So now the U.S. is looking at it as, oh, okay, we got to get in there so we can have our influence in there. And the problem, what most African nations realize is when it comes to the U.S. and doing business with the U.S., the reason why they start going to China is because the U.S. had too many qualifications in order to receive the money from them. So what the U.S. did in the past was they'll say, okay, if we're going to give you this money, then you have to accept like LGBT and stuff like that. And you already know Africa is conservative, or they'll have to say, okay, your human rights abuses and stuff like that. Now we know that goes on in Africa, but basically they was trying to morally dictate to these African nations that needed the money what they need to do. So of course over time, these African nations are like, okay, this sucks. Who else is there? That's when China came in. China was like, look, I'll just give you money. They can work out the terms, but I'll just give you money, and there you go, and it's fine, it's good, and that's a lot better. Like, if I'm gonna give you money, I'm already gonna owe you interest. Don't tell me how I'm gonna run my country and to be like you. Like, no, we don't want democracy like you, and especially what's going on in the U.S. I don't like this shit either. So excuse my French, but I don't like what's going on. But anyway, so I looked at Prosper Africa, and it just seemed like, okay, they're just another way of exploitation, a way that's they never talk about education, like, and I'm talking about ongoing adult education into a lot of these regions. It's just getting the raw product is usually what I see. So when I was reading the article, I was seeing what they was doing. They'll give some funding and stuff like that, but when you peel back the layers, you start seeing that they're just talking about funding, like just basic operations. I didn't see, because if you go to the website, Prosper Africa, they'll have some success stories and stuff like that. But when I was really, I wasn't seeing like, okay, and they taught a whole bunch of people the technical skills and the science, and I don't see any of that. So now it just looks like, okay, you're just trying to make it like you're saving face, you're in the continent or whatever, and you're doing, and it's just fake, and that's why it's the Biden administration that created it, correct. It's the Biden administration, and it's just tired and old, and I don't know. This doesn't impress me when I see Prosper Africa. Anything with the U.S. trying to do business in Africa, it just doesn't look right. I mean, it just doesn't feel good. But anyways, so that's what's going on for that. So let me get back to the article. Rapid Growth principally launched in late 2019, so right before the pandemic, and quickly proved its worth. Customers recognize the service's value and convenience, especially in the face of high inflation. Only a few months later, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, users also valued having a safe, affordable way to get the essentials they needed. People were scared to go out because of COVID-19, says principally co-founder and COO Juma Abalaka, and the company's model met the needs of the moment. The business was able to get the license from the government to be able to move around during COVID lockdowns and restrictions, he said. The company rapidly expanded to operate in both Lagos and Abuja, doubled its workforce from 7 to 14, and grew its user base to more than 5,000 customers each month. So that's pretty significant. But there are a lot of people in Lagos and Abuja, so I guess that's, if you're delivering food and to people's houses, then I can see how people want to take advantage of that. So then in the next 5, okay, so now of course they want to expand. Win-win for farmers and shoppers. Usually when you're doing anything in bulk, you got the farmers that are able to sell more of their product so that it doesn't go to waste. And then of course people are getting a bigger discount because they're buying more product. So yeah, that's basically how it's going to be. I'm going to keep going. For transparency, principally has started putting farmers' faces in short bios. Okay, that's a nice thing. Maybe I should go to the website. Let me try this. I haven't gone to the website yet, so let me just see how the website looks like. Okay, it's just .com. Let's see. Well, I like the. No, just click out. Okay, I like the fact that it looks clean. Usually, when I see websites from African companies, it's they didn't really put much thought into it. Okay, you got it. Okay. I mean, this is pretty cool. I like the fact that it's nice and clean, and it just looks like a regular website. So this is what's up. So if you're in Nigeria, Lagos, Abuja, whatever. My computer's slowing down, but this is what you can do right here. So my computer, is it just loading really slow? Peppers. So I'm curious about where they're actually getting their produce from. So you can sign up. So yeah, okay, so they got a blog. Let's see what the blog looks like. Nice and clean. July 21st is the last time they did anything. So okay. Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, this is June. So I mean, it looks pretty good. It's definitely, usually when I see websites, or there's no website for people to order, but I mean, it's online as a tech business, so it has to have a good website, and that's what I like to see. So people who use the service can trust the food that they buy it fresh and healthy for transparency. Okay, so they want to put the bios of the people, the farmers. So that's a nice thing. You're trying to connect with your consumer so that they can see who's actually giving their product. In my limited knowledge, I don't think people really care. They just want a good, like, especially now, they want a cheap price, a good price with quality. I don't see them really caring about. That's like more of a Western thing to me. Like, okay, who? They just. It's really just the prices and the quality and consistency is what people mostly care about. So I mean, it's a nice thing, but I mean, who's really gonna read the bio if they're trying to buy something in bulk? Like, I don't believe they care. But whatever. Everyone runs their business differently. So if it was me, I probably won't even waste time on that. A lot of people are becoming aware of their health, and they are making sure that they're eating organic produce. Okay, so organic is a bit subjective, at least in the U.S. I don't really see. Okay, so I know in Nigeria they do get a lot of food imports. As far as it being non-organic, I mean, if it's coming from China, then it can be synthetic. Like, remember the issue with the synthetic rice or the plastic rice. So I mean, I know that's one situation, but I don't see it being an issue with getting fresh food. Most people are getting fresh food because there's farms everywhere. It's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but when they say organic, it's just, that's like a westernized word I hear. Like, it's standard. So I've traveled to different countries and different continents, and it's just standard to have fresh stuff, because they don't. A lot of the countries I went to, they don't have they don't have the capacity to just refrigerate everything. It costs a lot of money, the electricity bills and stuff like that, and electricity can be inconsistent. So everything is usually made fresh. I mean, you could tell from when you eat the food. So like this notion that, okay, organic is like, oh, that's what we already expect. That's why I'm like, that's like a buzzword. It just seems very Western to me. So, but anyways, principally is well positioned to meet the changing needs and shopping behaviors of its customers. Okay, that's cool. And that's the end of it. So when I think about it, it's a good business model. I mean, it's like a Costco or Sam's Club. I remember the first time I went into those stores, and I just saw everything in bulk, and it's like how much you can save. Like, it definitely gets you excitement, because you know you're not gonna run out like next week, and you have to go back and forth. So at least you save time on that. What I'll be curious about is just their supply chain, because I know, we already know, like, Nigerian roads are really terrible. They shouldn't be at this state. Like, I understand, okay, it's not gonna be perfect or whatever, but at this point, I mean, it's ridiculous how a lot of these roads are. So when the roads are messed up, trucks get beaten down. There's more maintenance, and then you're messing up the supply chain. Also, the insecurity that's going on in the country. There's a lot of kidnappings and robberies. It's just rampant. So it's like, okay, how are these farmers? How are they getting all the produce and not having issues like that? Now, of course, it's not happening everywhere as far as these robberies, but I mean, that's something that I do think about, where it's just like, okay, how do you maintain that? Going from all these different farms, or where are the farms? I wouldn't put my money on investing in farms in the northern region of Nigeria, because that's where all the terrorist attacks are happening. So it's just like, okay, is it in the southern region? Southern region, that's the part I see that as a big risk. But hey, if they're growing, they're doing it, then hopefully it continues to be that way. I also want to see, when it comes to anything agriculture, in my opinion, there's too much focus on subsistence farming. You put the seed in the ground, and then you pick it up, and then you sell it. I want to see more processing facilities. Now, I understand the flip side is the power, the electricity is not consistent. You can't run your business all on generators, backup generators. It's just, the cost is too high. It's going to mess up your margins. You're not going to get the return on investment like you want to. So maybe you can use solar, but solar it's you need the batteries with it. And then if you're running certain type of machinery, it might not be enough. The power might not be enough. So that's one limitation. But at least, I guess, mechanical, you can do it mechanical, and have electronic or whatever. But I want to see some type of food processing other than just put stuff in the ground and you pick it up. It's too simple. The way to make money, really, in any industry, you have to, the more complicated processes that you have in your operation, the more value you're putting into that product or service, which means more money. And if you're not, I don't see enough of that, of making the process more complicated, of making products out of, or medical products, or anything like that. I just don't see it on a large scale like it should be. So those would be my concerns if I'm looking at any type of wholesale, but at least in Nigeria. Now, Nigeria is one place. There's other places that are not as tough as Nigeria, so I'll look at other options as well. But hey, I think it's a good start. The fact that they're trying to do something different. It's not just a regular grocery store. They want to wholesale. Maybe later on they could wholesale to like businesses, like hotels, maybe schools. What else? I mean, just different. I don't know, different stores. Like, you can wholesale when it comes to food anywhere, as long as it's fresh, and you have you really understand your suppliers. So that's the biggest thing. And of course, if you can maintain those supply chains and keep it consistent, then that's good. But it's only so much you can do when you have governmental officials that are not doing their job effectively like they should. So I hope this was of some value to you all. You got some ideas from it. Let me know if you would consider investing in the food wholesale business. Let me know if you would or you wouldn't. I think it's a cool industry. Not sure if I would, but hey, maybe you all. So if you would invest into it, you think it's a good idea, or you have a different country that you think it will be better in investing, then definitely let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll love to hear your thoughts. So until the next video, I'll catch you later. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel. If you like this type of content, definitely like this video if brought some value to you, or you can share it with someone else if you think it'll be helpful to them. But this is what's going on. So shout out to this Nigerian entrepreneur for doing the thing in Nigeria. And yeah, I guess I'll see y'all later.